running around, spending money, having fun. Because even then, I'm still number one. One, 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 one. What's up? What's up? That was BDP, Boogie Down Productions. Because, you know, the reason I know some of y'all don't want me singing, but that's okay. I'm going to keep singing because, you know what? At one time I thought I was on the church choir. I thought I could sing, but, you know, I never got a solo. That's when I realized I really couldn't sing. But guess what? It's cool because, you know, music helps the soul. And, you know, you may go look up one of these old songs. That was Blastmaster KRS One, for those who didn't know. And the name of the song was called I'm Still Number One. All right, off of the My Philosophy album. I think it's back in 1987, 88. But what I want to talk about is, because, you know, we talk about just different things and have talks about, you know, this celebrity stuff and everything. And like I've said before, always try to correlate something to it that we see in our everyday lives or regular lives. And, you know, and I get it because that pulls people in, that has people interested in finding out what's going on and everything like that. But to the core and essence of what I want to do on a regular basis, or what we want to do on a regular basis, is continue to try to uplift, to make people feel better, and to make people see the greatness in life and see the things about being good. So, you know, even when I think back to, you know, like being younger and everything like that, and you know, just trying to learn how to grow. And what I mean by that, learn how to grow, because as you grow, because you've always been in your body, but you haven't always been the person that you are currently. And the reason that is because life's experiences have made you who you are. And some of us still, at the core of us, are still, you know, really good. And I feel like most people are just really good people. But then you have some people who are cynical people who have turned to complainers and turned negative. And that's okay, too, because the world is 8 billion of us. So the world needs an array of different people. But like when you stop and check on yourself and do your own self inventory. I remember one time before, and, you know, I felt like at a certain point in my life, maybe like late 20s, early 30s or whatever, I felt like I was a complainer. And I felt like I was not always blaming somebody else, but I was just a complainer. And, you know, for some of those out there, you know, because, you know, we try not to curse around here, but I was being a lot. You could fill in the rest of the stuff. I felt like I was being a lot, and I felt like I was complaining a lot. And, you know, it could have been, I can't even remember what I was going through at that point in life. But I thought about it. And you know what I did? I really made a conscious effort into saying, you know what? Because let's face it, we all kind of know what we got going on with us, right? We all kind of know if we got attitude problems. We all kind of know that if we're selfish. We all kind of know if we let people take advantage of us, right? So we all kind of know that. And with life, because it is just really a journey of one ourselves, we're always in a constant state of, whether we know it or not, trying to be the best person and get hopefully the most out of life that we can get for ourselves. And that's why it's a journey, because a lot of times during the journey, you get, you know, family members, you get your friends. You fall out with people, you get back in good graces with people, you meet new people. But through all of that stuff, it still just has to be you. You have to be the catalyst for how you want your life to turn out. Have I made a bunch of mistakes? Oh, hell yeah. But you know what? The one mistake I feel like I've never made is not being a good person. Now, you know, I mean, hey, listen, we all know stuff like that is subjective, because you may have people out there, oh, no, he sucks. He's such and such and such and such. But you know what? I've really tried to be, for the most part, because we all make mistakes, a decent person, and try to be a fair person. And I think that, and what I mean by fair is that, do I want somebody embarrassing me in public? No, I do not. So guess what I try not to do? I don't embarrass people in public. All right. This one is even still big to me, and I see some of y'all do it sometimes, and even some of my friends I say to or whatever. Has one ever slipped? Very rarely. I don't curse in front of my kids. And what I mean by that is that, let me take that back because I have been in some arguments. But let me just say that I don't curse at my kids. Some people, that's their way of dealing with stuff. Hey, listen, I'm not here to tell anybody how to be a parent. I don't curse in front of my parents. I don't do it. Some people feel really comfortable with doing that. I don't do it. Because you know why? I don't want no little, cursing at me. It hurts my heart. It hurts my soul when I got to listen to it on a regular basis anyway. Whether it's walking down the street, somewhere downtown, somewhere here, somewhere out. You know what I mean? And you got two 13, 14-year-olds cursing up a storm. Because for me, and I've said this before, respect is everything. So how can you ask for respect or demand respect when it's something that you don't give? A journey of one. I remember back in times before where, at times I could call up, it would be like 20 of us, 15 of us. And we'd all go out to, although I'm not Greek, but we would go to the Greek picnic because that's just what you did when you were in Philly. Then you went to Asbury Park over in Jersey back in the 90s when they were having it. Some people went to the Freaknik. I never went to the Freaknik, but, we could always get, and it felt for me like such a sense of pride to be in my city and have, 17, 18, 19, 20 guys with me. And, just for the most part, good guys and good people. And it was just a good time. But as I've gotten older, some people have unfortunately passed away. Some people, have, a lot of people have gone their separate ways. But guess what? I'm still thankful for those who are still around, the ones who I am still cool with and kick it with and talk every now and then. Because, let's get it. Let's face it. People have families. People have things going on. Even with this podcast, a lot of times I bring out the people who, support the channel a lot, as far as putting them on or suggesting or wanting to put them on. And but people that I trust and people that I, respect that are in my circle. Right. So it's really a journey of one, because even when you raise your kids and you sacrifice and you can't buy this for yourself because you're doing it for them, or maybe money that you would have saved, it has to come out the same way my mom did to send me to college, dipped in her 401k. Love you for that forever. Just doing stuff that people may not want to do, but it's a sacrifice, but you don't think about it because you just do it. But even when you do it and make those sacrifices, that's still coming from you, the one. That's still you on your journey. That's still you saying, hey, listen, I might not have all of it right now, but because I want to raise this kid, but because that's my homie, because that's my girl, because that's my wife, that's whomever, I'm going to make sure that it gets done. I'll worry about all that other kind of stuff later. I'm going to make sure it gets done. Like even when I see most of my friends with their kids, and I always like, and I'm serious about this. I really am fortunate because I got to be, whether they're married, unmarried, divorced, whatever, got to be around a great group of guys that say, hey, listen, my kids are the most important thing to me on this earth. My family, my wife, my girl, whatever the situation may be. But guess what? It started with a journey of one. It started as a journey of just them. Like I said, even bringing up my mom, I think about that and how she raised her kids and everything like that. And that, the sacrifices she made. And, a lot of times we do stuff and, it's on us. You know what I mean? We all have to, whatever decisions we make are the decisions we a lot of times have to live with. But she's been on an amazing journey of one. And I think about other people in life, and even you. I'm sure you know people and have dealt with people, or even yourself. And you go and do something. You donate your time somewhere. You help out somewhere. You do stuff. And yes, that is good because it helps another person. But isn't it such a good feeling inside when you help somebody else out, especially when they weren't expecting it? Doesn't it feel good when you're able to provide for your family, or when somebody really needs you and you know that they really need you, and you're in a position to be able to help them out? Doesn't that feel good? But once again, and like I said, that's because you're the one who started that journey. Yeah, we all get help along the way. Yeah, it does take a village to raise a family, raise kids, and all this other kind of stuff. But you started it. Once you realized, hey, look, sometimes, and I remember, and I get it, and I remember having jobs where, I worked 20 out of 24 hours. Because I knew that I wanted to make sure that I had, and this is before I had kids, but I wanted to make sure that I had something for myself. I wanted to make sure that, I didn't seem like the bump on the log or the bum that was just sitting around somewhere. And even on my own journey, like I said, I've made mistakes, and, like I've talked about here on the channel a few times, I got into an accident, and, I was pretty much immobilized, we'll use that word, for a period of time here. But during that journey, it helped me to see two things. One thing was, at least now, Greg, you know exactly who's in your corner. You know exactly, because this is the worst position you've been in at least the last 30 years of your life. So you know who's down and who's not. So I'll say thank you, God, for pointing that out to me. I appreciate it, and I'm going to tell you something. If it never would have happened, I would have never taken the time to think about it. I would have never gotten to see who was really down with me or not. Because guess what? Like how front runners are, everybody seems like they're down when everything is all good. But what happens when you need a meal? What happens when you need $20? You'll see. Because guess what? I happened to go through my incident last year. But we all got to go through it at some point. And if we're lucky, like I was, you'll come out on the other side. All right? You'll come out. And mine was just like from a lot of people, just for a little more transparency. It was a car accident. All right? It was a car accident. Just going and doing something regular day. Boom. You know how sometimes people say, I got a chance to see my life flash before my eyes. Well, I didn't get to see anything. Because before I knew it, boom, hit. Hit. And once again, I'm here to say that I'm lucky. Because on my journey, God chose not to take me just yet. He allowed me to continue my journey. Just like if you're listening to this now, if you happen to watch it, you gotten lucky because you're still on a journey. You still have an opportunity, even if you're behind in your bills, even if you don't feel good, even if you got some type of disease. You still got another day to be on your journey. The second thing is that, and I've said this before, because I've heard it, and I heard it on the when I used to watch one of my favorite movies, Shawshank Redemption, The Shawshank Redemption. And Morgan Freeman said, "Get busy living or get busy dying." And I thought about it because, I couldn't move my leg a lot. I had to use a walker. And I had to say to myself, and even at first, because, sometimes you got to take a little time to feel sad for yourself, feel bad for yourself. Your money's not coming in the way it was. You're not able to run out and do stuff like you were. Like I've said in another video, my mom, Step Pop, shout out to y'all, had to come bring me groceries, had to come help me walk around the house. And, when I think back to all of that stuff, I had to start saying to myself, Greg, you owe yourself more than what you've given yourself. You owe yourself more. Have you ever stopped to think about that sometimes with you in your life? Like, Dad, you know what? I've been given so many gifts. I owe myself more. And I've thought about that a lot of times. And hence, this is the reason why I started doing this. Not because somebody's going to get rich, not because somebody's chasing some dream, but because it's always good to talk to other people, and it's always good to try to have an effect on other people, even if you don't know them. Because I know that in my life, that has happened before. You ever go to a good church and you sit and listen to a pastor, and it's like, oh my God, pastor talking to me. He talking directly to me. I've had that happen before. And it's not always the pastor. I've had people talk to me, help me out along in life, and just give different things because people talk a lot, right? So, but usually if you listen good enough, some of the stuff is going to stick. What journey are you on? Is it something else that you want to do in your life or try to strive to do in your life while you still have breath in your body? And I think to myself, if I didn't have that accident, wow, I may have just kept going on doing the same stuff I was doing without any regard to trying to do any of the other stuff I felt like I wanted to do or that I could accomplish. Life should be fun. Life should be filled with a lot of good stuff. But to get the best out of life, we all know what it is. We got to work hard. We got to strive hard. And make sure when it's over, that journey of one, everybody can say, you know what, dog? Job well done. Live life. Don't let life live you.